Welcome back to another episode of Kyoudai Ai, episode 3. Getting 3 on the books now. Once again, I'm your host, superjollymac. With me is my co-pilot, DonTheVan.
Hello.
For those new to the podcast, we are trying to do a weekly podcast where we go over Tokusatsu, anime, what we're listening to. It's pretty much just a hangout between brothers in the Christian sense. Brother Don, the van.
Yeah. What's up?
So it's just a hangout where we go over. Right now, we're going over Kamen Rider Kuuga and MIrai Sentai Timeranger. So that's basically the step by step or the play by play.
Yeah.
So let's get started with, I guess, music. I haven't been listening to anything new. What about you, Don?
No, I can't really say that I have been. Trying to think. Is there anything? I don't think I have. I've been listening to some playlists. I mean, I guess you can say that. Yeah, listening to playlists. I'm trying to get back into reading, so I'm like instrumental playlists and everything like that. So, but as far as new music, nothing crazy.
Okay.
Same old. Yeah.
Well, I have not either, but we can go over I brought my 2024 recap to share with the class. Oh, you can't see it. So I don't know if this would really work this week.
Yeah. Oh, the recap? Is it on your computer?
Yeah.
Okay. We can work on that off screen to figure out how you can share that then.
So it's actually showing right now.
Oh. Yay.
Well, I guess I could just go over it with the class. So this is my 2024 recap for the year. It shows the top 100 songs I guess I played with, or that played in my household, because the account kind of goes through the house. So we'll just go over my top 10, I guess. So it's LLYLM by Rosalia. You know that one?
I know the artist. I don't know if I know the song.
It's Lie Like You Love Me.
Nah, I haven't heard that one.
Oh man, that is my number one song for the. Hold on, let's see if we can fix this. We're gonna actually have to pause the stream and see if we can fix it. All right. So now we fix it, and you can see it now, right?
Yeah. Do I need to move my camera?
Nope.
Side?
Should be fine, I think.
It has me off to the side.
That's fine. We can fix it next time.
Okay.
All right. So that's my top music for the 2024. So Lie Like You Love Me from Rosalia. That one was on repeat for a while. I love that song. We Will Rock You. That was actually one from the kids. I was trying to get them into some classic music, and they took to that one really. I don't know if that was for me or from the school. I think they heard that from school and they wanted to hear it.
That's really funny.
Yeah, then Cash In, Cash Out. Cash In, Cash Out. Have you heard that one?
Cash In, Cash Out?
Yeah, Pharrell, 21 Savage, and Tyler, the Creator.
Nah, I probably heard it once, but it's not like sticking out for me.
Oh man, that's a good one too. I love that one. Tyler's the last third of that track, and I just love his part. Like he just comes in and it's just all energy.
Yeah, Tyler rarely misses. It's pretty nice. I like him.
And then Fatale, that's from an anime. Oshinoko. I assume you haven't seen it. It's good. I love it. If we were going to go back to my top 5, I was thinking about it, and I would either have Fruits Basket probably or Oshinoko. Oshinoko is pretty good. If we switch to adding a anime, that might have to get in there.
Oh man. Okay. I've seen neither of those, so that I'm down. I'm game. I'm up for it.
Yeah. Then Otonoke.
Is this Spotify?
No, this is YouTube Music.
Okay.
Oh no, Bad Love God came up after that. I think they go in order of the most. I don't know how YouTube does the tracks. I know the first 3 I think are the top ones you've listened to in the year, the top 3, but after that I'm not sure. So we have Hope Tala, Bad Love God. That's another vibe. I had that on repeat for a good week. Otonoke by Creepy Nuts.
They're really good. I like them.
Yeah. So that's I think that's the DonTheVan song. Synonym by JID. I like to move it. Obviously, you know how that came. And then we start getting into a big kind of anime grouping. Totome no Ichigeki. You know that one, right?
Not by name, no.
That's from Vondi is one of my more one of the newer artists that I really like, or that new to me that I really like, because he did Ado does the One Piece song, which is next on the list, but it's actually written by Vondi. I found out.
Isn't Vondi the Yeah, Tokyo Flash.
Yeah.
That one.
Tokyo Flash is a vibe too. I love that song.
I did check that out after
Yeah.
you mentioned it.
What was it? Totome no Ichigeki is off of Spy Family. That's the ending to season 2, I think. Yeah, so that one's pretty good. And then Kura Kura, which is the opening to Spy Family, which I wasn't really feeling at the beginning, but it kind of grew on me.
It grows on you.
Yeah.
They're both members.
Then Black Sheep.
Both by Von D?
What's that?
You said they're both by Von D?
Vondi did Totome no Ichigeki, and then after that is I forget the name of it. I can't read that kanji, but it's like something light. It's from the One Piece film, Red.
I see.
Yeah. So he wrote that, I believe, and then she performed it. He also has a performance of it, which is a different vibe. If you've never heard Ado, I think is how you pronounce her name. She has like a really like a scratchy voice. It's one of those voices you love or you hate, or maybe both. But it's kind of raw.
Talking about Ada?
Yeah. She did Kura Kura too, but I think that was more kind of mainstreamish sounding, to me at least. This one is like a bad rock, like the one from Red One Piece is like a really rocky kind of vibe. It's like I'm going to burn the accelerator and like just cruise.
What was that? You said it's called Kura Kura?
No. Kura Kura is the one from Spy Family. The other one was from Red. It's I forget the English name for it, but it's Ado, and then you can listen to One Piece film Red. I guess she did a couple tracks on that soundtrack, but I really like that one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we won't go down the rest of them because I guess it gives you 100, but I go back and forth between some classics because right after that is Black Sheep. I don't know, I just got into a vibe and I wanted to hear Black Sheep.
Black Sheep?
Yeah.
I don't know if I know what that one is.
No, you know that one, Metric.
Metric? Now I gotta look it up.
From, it was in Scott Pilgrim.
Oh!
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah. Dun it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, that's my song.
Yeah.
I love that one. I do love it. 'Cause,
Yeah.
okay, when you said Black Sheep, at first I was like, wait, I know that one. Then I was like, wait, do I actually know that one? But
No, you know that one. Yeah, you know that one.
I definitely.
And then there's not much some veracity anime wise. Like, I got some Carol G on here. Provenza, I love that song from Carol G. Then Kendrick came in with Euphoria.
Oof.
More Creepy Nuts.
You played Euphoria that much?
I played Euphoria that much. That was probably my favorite. I don't know. The last most of those songs I really like. But maybe Euphoria more than anything else. But this is before I listened to GNX.
Yeah. I guess. I played Family Matters that much.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That was right up my alley. I said, ooh, okay.
Tatsuya Kitani is another guy that does a lot of anime songs, and I really like him too. Like, there's a couple of them that I like. Yeah. He did Where Our Blue Is. It's from, what's the one? Jujutsu Kaisen. The opening to... have you caught up on that?
Jujutsu Kaisen? Yeah.
Yeah. So the last season... Or no. It was the first half of the last season. Because I think they switched to a different... They switched to King New, I think, at the last half of the season. But the first song is that one, Where Our Blue Is. Yeah. Yeah. So then we do La Fama from Rosalia again. And then that part, Black Hippie. Man, that Black Hippie version is really nice. But yeah, they would just keep going. A lot of stuff from anime, some hip hop, rock comes in.
Anime does hit.
Yeah.
Does hit.
Some of the new songs have been really good. Big Dogs is good too if you haven't heard that. Humankind, Hunamankind, and Call Me. Big Dogs. You got to listen to that. Espresso even made the list. I listened to some pop, you know. I get my pop on. So,
Big Dogs.
yeah. But that was my 2024 in review.
Culture. All right, I got them all. Well, the ones we said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of what I listened to in 2024. We'll see how that changes. Even in the first half of 2025, it's probably like a vastly different list. But looking at the list, I kind of want to go back to some of those tracks. See, I have a sickness. I hear something, like I like to go back to songs that I really like. But once I hear a new track that I really like, then I hit that on replay for a good while. The Hope Talia song was like a sickness. I had to listen to it on repeat for a good couple of days. Like it permeated my dreams. That's how bad it was.
Some songs are like that. I can't lie. Some songs are like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I would have to think hard about if I've had one like that recently. I haven't been listening to too much new music outside of the gym, so yeah.
So that's pretty much my 2024. We can switch over to what you've been watching, because I know the main event is kind of loaded today.
Yeah. You got a good list there. I mean, as far as watching, nothing really too new from beforehand. Still Naruto. I caught the I'm officially in filler territory when it comes to Naruto, which isn't bad. It's still good. I think I'm catching some key pieces of story. I don't know why they have this huge chunk designated as like filler. Maybe I'll look at a different list and see if somebody else like kind of breaks it down differently, but I feel like there's some important episodes in this long 100 episode stretch.
Well, filler just usually, I think that usually filler is just a story that isn't really in the original manga. So they're just kind of padding the season or the seasons, trying to get another extra season or so out of it. So they just put in a original story.
Huh.
That's usually what you classify as filler. So some of the filler can be really good. I know One Piece, for one, I've hit some arcs or some portions of One Piece, and I've been like, this is definitely filler. And it was definitely not filler. It was in it was in the manga.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna have to check the manga out.
Yeah.
For sure.
But some series, sorry, continue.
No, go ahead.
But some series actually, like, they don't even finish because they get so impatient that they end the anime in filler.
Oh wow.
Like like Full Metal Alchemist, the first season.
Mm-hmm.
The second half of that season, second half of that series is just filler.
I watched all of that too. It was
Yeah.
so good.
The first one, not Brotherhood.
Yes.
Brotherhood follows the manga, but
Both of them. I watched the first one and Brotherhood.
good job.
Yeah.
I would always recommend watching the original series. I like the original series for what it is.
It was nice.
Yeah. And even because Brotherhood skips certain parts in the first season too, or the first series too. It kind of glosses over some of the pieces. But I think they did a pretty good job wrapping up the story. But yeah, it was original because she hadn't finished the manga yet, and they had gotten to bypass it. So they would have gone to hiatus or just put in a bunch of filler, and they were just like, well, let's figure out an ending to it. There's a couple like that.
Yeah. They pretty much had the Game of Thrones syndrome going on. Huh?
Yeah, kind of.
But that's kind of like how, well, no, I guess that's different. I guess the manga finished and the anime just never finished. But I was gonna say Fire Force. They just put season 3 out.
Oh, okay.
And it's been like, what, 8 years now since
Yeah.
season 2. A long time.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
Blasphemy. I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah. Now it's blasphemy that they took 8 years to get the last season out.
Yeah. That's not too bad for some shows.
Yeah, I'm aware. I know sometimes it takes like forever to get some, but I was looking forward to that, man. I was looking forward to it. Hopefully that doesn't happen with the Chainsaw Man and Chainsaw Man. Hopefully that does not happen to them.
I doubt it. They've got to be like, that's one of the more hype animes of last year, I think. Actually, speaking of last year, let's pull up the list of 2024 anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are just like the top ones that I got from, it's like a Google. Hey, Google, what are the top animes of 2024?
Here's a summary from the website vulture.com. The best anime series of 2024.
Okay, Google.
Frieren, Beyond Journey.
Stop.
Google said, "Yep." I got you, bro.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many of these you've watched. Look back. Oh, Isla sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. That's a pretty good one.
I see Solo Leveling. Ida sometimes hides her feelings. I feel like
That's
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, romance comedy.
Yeah.
Monogatari. I need to finish that. Or I need to get way back into that. Let's see what else. DonTheVan, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Solo Leveling. Yeah, I did that.
Of course.
Colors Within. I think the other ones I'm not seeing. Kaiju number 8. I did watch. That wasn't too
I
bad.
heard about that one. I need to watch that. My friend has been like talking about that incessantly.
Kaiju number 8. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
They go some pretty good places with it. Uzumaki was very disappointing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I have not seen it.
it was just odd.
I haven't seen it though.
Yeah. These others, I'm not sure about. The wrong way to
Have you
use
seen
healing.
Go Loser Ranger?
I watched the first episode of it. I was actually looking out for it, and I watched the first episode, and then I kind of was like, eh. So I'm gonna give that one a second chance, though. I think I'm gonna give that one a second chance. I need to get back to it.
Yeah, that one was good. I actually like that one. Me and my friend watched that one, and we're waiting for them to put the next season out.
Oh, you completed it?
No, but
So it's worth finishing?
I think so. Yeah.
I only have so much time, buddy. I gotta, you know what I'm saying?
Same.
But that's definitely up there.
Right now too.
Yeah. Let's see what else. I think those are the biggest ones I remember that I watched. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that I watched last year. Fairy Tail, I kind of want to go back to. Fairy Tail, some of those arcs are hilarious. I don't know if you've seen any Fairy Tail.
I started Fairy Tail. I didn't finish it. I think I got like maybe halfway through the first season, and I need to finish that one for sure.
Yeah. And
I think I started Fairy Tail, and then I started the 7 Deadly Sins also.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's just the top ones, I guess.
Yeah. They got a good list. I need to catch up on some stuff. I wanted to watch Naruto though, because I like ramen, and I like Naruto. I need to finish it. Yes. It's really
Did you say you like ramen? So you like Naruto?
Yeah, Naruto eats ramen all the time. Heck yeah. And plus, he's like everywhere. I gotta finish it. I can't be like, oh, I like Naruto, but I haven't even like finished 1, the main series, and then 2, Shippuden, and then all the rest of them. I'm getting left in the dust. I need to catch up.
Boruto, I almost kind of want to try it. I don't know, man.
It looks interesting. I haven't seen like anything like concrete, but I've seen like bits and pieces of like clips, and I'm just like, it does look interesting.
I might. Something tells me it's probably just as long as Naruto was, and I don't know. Bleach, I need to catch up on the new seasons of Bleach. What's that?
Is it not still ongoing?
Boruto? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. The new season of Bleach. I definitely gotta catch up on that. Oh my goodness, there's so much.
Yeah, I don't know. I just haven't been feeling the new season. It's pretty, and they have some good story arcs. Like they go back to one of my most favorite kind of little stories in Bleach. No spoilers, but they go back and touch on something I really liked. I think they're hitting about the point where I stopped reading the manga, because I read up to kind of this point a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're hitting that point now. It's pretty good. It's definitely pretty.
Yeah. Speaking of Bleach, Ben said that he really likes Bleach.
Bleach is good. Bleach is good.
Yeah.
They're the top 3 for a reason.
Yeah, that's true. He said if we ever talk about it, he said to bring him on as a guest.
Well, that could be, maybe that'll be a like a side cast or something like that. We'll have to go through all of Bleach. I'm already thinking about doing One Piece, but we could do Bleach. Seems like it'd be a little bit more reasonable. We could see. That could happen.
Yeah. That might be more doable. I feel like if we're gonna add an anime, we gotta start off with like a short one first.
Yeah. So we could talk about that, if we want to add an anime to it or not. But I know we could switch over to the Toku side of things for the Toku talk.
Yeah.
Toku section. We'll start with Timeranger this time, but I know 8 episodes. How you feeling doing 8 episodes a week? 4 of Sentai, 4 of Kamen Rider.
Fine. I mean, I feel like it's enough. Like to go over, I feel like it's enough episodes because there's short episodes. I don't think there's enough happening in just 2 episodes. Well,
Yeah.
Kamen Rider kind of.
Yeah, 2 episodes. 2 episodes is kind of where it is. They usually have a kind of an A B that can connect them. At least Kamen Rider usually has that A B connection. It sounds like, it feels like. Sentai not as much. They seem more kind of weekly focused, but
Yeah. I would say for Kamen Rider, I like going over 4 because it is the AB and it's like the complete story.
Yeah.
For Time Ranger, I mean, it's fine. It's so it's fine.
So we're starting with Time Ranger this week, and first off, I want to say there was a lot of shade thrown at the opening of Time Ranger last week. I think it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
I listened to it again.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't the only one. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I listened to it. I listened to the ending. I said, "Oh, I actually kind of."
The ending I'm not feeling, but like the opening is not that bad.
Yeah. Is it like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in the U.S.? Nah, but it's not that bad.
Was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that good of a song?
It was pretty iconic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yes.
I'm gonna have to listen to that one again because I don't remember it being like that. Okay,
Like that.
I'll take your word for it. Okay.
Yeah. It hit so good they kept it for like the entire run of the show.
Sure, that's why they kept it for the entire run of the show. Not because of cost reasons. Because
They're on a budget.
So anyway, back to Time Ranger for episode 5, case file 5, Daisan no Gatai. Daisan no Gatai, which is like the 3rd formation. Gatai is like a combination, I guess. I think the English translation they use is the 3rd formation though. So this is case file 5. This is, I think, a more pink centric episode. I don't know if we want to keep classifying them like that, but definitely get Daisan no Gatai. Yeah, this one, sorry, I had to think back. I have my notes and I was like pink centric, but I'm thinking of the next episode. But yeah. So in this episode, we start off with Blast getting released by Jian. And then we find out Yuri took a cleaning job solo, and the boys find out and then come to help. I just put the boys. They're the boys now. The boys and Yuri cleaning out this huge building, administrative building or office building or something. It's pretty big. Yeah. So they come to help. And they do nothing but get in the way. And then she gets mad and chews them out.
Yeah.
But anyway, Blast ends up attacking the city. And then the Time Rangers come to stop him. I did notice that, what's his name? The alien. That you're not supposed to... what's his name?
I don't know his name either.
His hair changed color, didn't it? I think his hair changed color.
From what? It's always been silver though.
Yeah, but it was like green.
Blue.
It like changed a shade to a different color because it was green, I think, the first episode, and then I think it changed to a kind of bluish color. I don't know. Check it out again. I think it changed.
You might be right. I wasn't looking that hard. You might be right.
Yeah. So anyway, the Time Rangers come to stop him, and then during the fight, Yuri recognizes Blast as the guy that she thinks killed her family, and then she snaps and tries to like straight up kill him.
Yeah. Turn him into a smear on the sidewalk.
Yeah. One thing about Time Ranger is these stories are like, wow, for a kid show.
Yeah.
Like
that smoke.
they get pretty deep into it because it's like then we go back to the base because Blast kind of escapes. Tack, the owl navigator, tells the team the story of how Yuri's family was killed, and then they try and convince Yuri that she's not doing the right thing by just trying to kill this guy, because that's not what the cops do.
Detectives don't do that.
Yeah. So then Blast attacks an amusement park, and then Yuri rushes off and acts like she's going to kill him, but it's all a ploy to get some sort of evidence from him. And then when she gets it, she kind of shows that it was just an act, that she's actually calm, and that she's going to try to arrest him. And I think they end up fighting him and freezing him.
Yeah. The evidence proving that, Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was more about the proof. Well, I guess she ended up getting proof. I don't know if it was proof for someone else or for her. It felt like it was more for her.
Yeah, I think so.
So.
Oh yeah, spoiler warning. We are definitely not holding spoilers. We're gonna definitely spoil that thing if you're trying to follow along.
Oh yeah, so we're going to go through every episode and then kind of talk about what we're doing. So if you haven't gotten to episode 5, sorry. You might want to stop it before we go to episode 6. We're going to go through episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8 this week. So if you have not caught up, go do that and then come back. Pause it. I'm going to put time. This week I will definitely add time stamps. I'm going to do it. Look, we are slowly iterating and getting better and better. This week I fixed the audio on my end, so we should be a lot better this week. And so we're slowly getting better and better and better. It's just going to get better. Definitely not going to get worse.
Absolutely not. There's no way it could get worse.
Yeah. So I don't know if that I don't know if that's such a good thing. I don't know if that's the best way of putting that, but
you can go nowhere but up. That's what that means.
Yeah. So anyway, final fight of episode 5. We finally see Time Jet Gamma, or Formation Gamma for the Time Jet, which ends up being this huge jet. So it's jet form for the giant robo. So we end up with Alpha, which is the sword mode, Beta, which is the gun mode. So Alpha's, I think, red, Beta's blue, and then Gamma is a huge jet. I don't know if that one really had a color or not.
It's like gray, like dark.
Yeah. So we saw the time jets, I think, this episode too. Did we see those before, though?
The time jets?
Yeah, or the time sleds. I think they rode the sleds inside the city. The little... Yeah.
We saw the sleds before.
Okay.
And then they have the Chrono Charger Road Glider or something like that.
Well, they have the jets. I think they're called the jets that come from the future. Those are the time jets. And then they have the time... I thought they were time sleds, which are like the little bikes that they ride around. Mm-hmm. And then this app...
Yeah, that's the one that's like all together when like they're all on it, right?
The time jets are all together. They do the formation for the giant robo. The sleds, I don't... Some of the shots, it looks like they're all... Those are also all together, like they're flying in a group, but I'm not sure. And also, I remember seeing a close-up on the badge. I don't know if they've shown that off every transformation before, but I remember seeing it this episode. Like, they close up in on that thing. Like, hey, kids, don't you want this badge?
Ask your friend.
Yeah. So, I don't have many Sentai morphers, so...
This is the first time seeing the badge that it's, like, very prominent.
Okay.
I think they did show it once before, like once or twice before. But
Yeah.
I'll say this is pretty prominent in this stretch of episode. I definitely noticed it this time.
Yeah. So thoughts on episode 5?
Episode 5, I thought it was, I thought Yuri was going pretty off the deep end. She said, charge the pulse cannon to maximum power. And, take this guy's head off. And I said, oh, snap.
Yeah.
I thought that. I was like, this is the kid show?
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, all right, she's going for it. I like that. I like it.
I don't know if I like it, but
some dark. They're getting dark because like every time they unfreeze somebody, I'm listening. They're like, yeah, he was frozen for like murder and like genocide, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
What kind of villains are we letting out on the street here?
Yeah.
But,
Well,
I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. So.
I thought it was a decent storyline. We got to hear a little bit about Yuri's backstory. Definitely a little bit too dark for kids, but I think I like that about this Sentai. Certain series or certain seasons are kind of like that. So I like the storylines. They get a bit goofy sometimes, and I don't know. The switch is just large, so they get goofy, and then it's just like straight. You killed my family. I'm about to kill you.
Yeah.
No, kids, revenge is not the way. Okay.
Revenge. We went from the team tripping over water buckets to.
Yeah.
Like,
So.
But I did like it. I like the fact that they're giving like some backstory, and this is what I was gonna say. Like, I think it is like centric around. At least for now, it's centered around each individual ranger, so to speak, because you're getting backstory about each individual one.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're gonna keep that up or anything like that, but at least for right now, I like that.
Yeah. So that's good. So we can go on to case file 6 next, episode 6. Itsuwari no Shotai Kyaku. So the fabricated invitee. I could definitely not figure that one out, but the family is having dinner when Leela announces that she released Rouge, not Rogue, Rouge. After that, we cut to the Rangers having a very depressing breakfast when they see that Rouge has stolen one and a pair of jewels on the TV. The Rangers then use Tatsuya's name to kind of get them into a party where the other jewel and the pair will be, and they figure out that Rouge might be there to get the last one of the set. While they're searching for Rouge, Tatsuya ends up meeting up with his father, and he has a heart-to-heart, I guess, with him. He has a conversation with them, kind of going over their unfinished business of him taking over the family. So while he's doing that, the rest of the team investigates the attendees and eventually track down Rouge. And then they attack her and make her grow. And then I don't know if it played last episode, but we get kind of the new Robo song when they're combining.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good song.
That was me.
Yeah, I like that one. That one I like. That one I like.
Yeah.
And then we kind
And I
of...
was like, no, it came on and I was like, yo, this hasn't been playing this week. What? This is random.
New music?
Yeah.
But anyway, they start fighting Rouge. She grows huge. And then she kind of allows herself to get compressed. So, pretty easy fight for the Rangers this week. But then we also hear about that she was kind of 3 strikes, right? Like she was just a thief.
Yeah.
But they have this thing where if you do it 3 times and you get caught, then you get frozen, which seems excessive, but parallels? Parallels? No parallels at all? But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the episode, I think.
Yeah.
But Tatsuya kind of runs off from his family before the fight, before he catches up to the other Rangers. Let's start with what you think of episode 6.
I think it's one, definitely less dark than the one that came before it, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that, Tatsuya is trying to break out of his family's name and whatnot and like kind of do his own thing. So I'm kind of interested to see if that's gonna like turn into something later on you know, with the I'm blanking on the name of their organization. Tomorrow, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
The Rangers company.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, 'cause he left his business card, but then like his dad was like at the end, he was like, "You can't run from the name. Is he really gonna do it?" Or I tried to run from the name when I was young too.
Yeah.
You can't keep it.
So the father doesn't even really seem like that horrible of a guy. It almost felt like he was rooting for him. Like he wants to see him do it.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, like, fathers get a bad rap because they're kind of like jerks sometimes, but it's like you have to be hard. I think sometimes it's like they have to be hard on the kid in order to make sure they get where they want to be. But it's one of the, tough love. It's one of those things where it felt like they were trying to set it up where you hate the father, but in the end, you kind of like, maybe he's not that bad of a guy. I don't know. I didn't feel like he was that bad of a guy. He might secretly be rooting for him. Yeah.
You saw a little twinkle in his eye at the end there.
Yeah.
But I like this one. I thought this one was cool. I think something in like all the episodes. I like the little banter between each of the Rangers and whatnot. Because like while they were looking for the villain of the week, Rose, her, and everything like that. Like they literally missed the person because like they were like going back and forth on button heads, and it's like they all have such different personalities, and it's just like really cool to see that like come together.
It's pretty good. Some of them can get kind of old, but it's not that bad. Yeah. So a pretty straightforward episode. And then we get to case files. I felt the same way. I think I pretty much interjected where I could in yours, but I felt like the father, it was kind of redeeming for the father. So it felt like he's kind of rooting for Tatsuya a little bit. So I'm interested to seeing how that ends up. Because I'm sure by the end of the season, like there'll be some revelations that'll be pretty important.
Yeah, I feel like it tends to be that way.
Yeah,
with like Power Rangers or Super Sentai. So, well, I guess I don't know if there's any difference in the storylines between Super Sentai and the American Power Rangers.
Oh, definitely.
So, in America, there tends to be that type of connection. So.
Oh, definitely. Well, I can't say definitely. I don't really remember. I don't know if I've ever watched the Japanese version of. I've never watched the American and Japanese version of Power Rangers and Sentai of a same series back and forth. I've only watched the first couple episodes of Zyuranger, and I know that one's probably way off because Power Rangers, they're basically teens that are living around, and then in Zyuranger, I believe they were like brought out of like cryo, basically. I forget the storyline of Zyuranger, but
right. Okay, that's completely different.
Yeah. I don't even know if they really had a. Well, I guess in Power Rangers it was, hey, Rita's popped up. We gotta stop her.
Yeah.
I guess it might kind of be like that in Zyuranger. Something popped up, so they got pulled out of sleep to fight them.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a little bit closer than I give them credit for, but I haven't seen it. So, have you completed a Power Rangers season?
Finished the Mighty Morphin. They had like 3 seasons here, and so I finished those 3. I finished the Alien Rangers that they had here. I finished the Zeo Rangers that they had here, and I actually watched the Turbo movie. I don't think I've watched Turbo when it was like the series, so I was gonna watch that. I finished Lost in Space. I finished Rangers in Space, or not Lost in Space, Rangers in Space, Lost Galaxy, and Lightspeed Rescue.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think I watched a little bit of Time Ranger, Time Ranger, whichever one American called it.
Yeah. So we'll see. You probably have a better hand on how the storylines are the same or drift off.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I have to rewatch the Time Ranger one. I gotta find it and watch it to know for sure. But yeah.
Maybe I'll watch the first episode or two.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how I feel. But anyway, let's get to case file 7. Doman hospitalized. Doman Yuen. This one is yellow centric. So in this one, we find out Doman comes from a huge household. Like a bunch of siblings, and his grandparents live in the same house. And then he ends up passing out after reminiscing about the past. It looked like, from the start, it kind of looked like he was overworked. Like they have this thing in a lot of Japanese drama where people work too hard and then they get sick and then they have to go to the hospital because they've just been working too hard and not resting. Which I think actually happens in Japan. Like you work too hard and you just end up getting sick or something like that.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
I think that happens here too.
Yeah, it probably happens here a lot too. But in the end, they say it's data sickness. So the data that got downloaded to their brains when they time jump back into the year 2000 sometimes causes some issues and it can make them sick. So Leela spent all of the money, and Jian releases a new monster, Corrupt Murder Dr. Doku. I had to pause that to get that whole name, but Doku is poison, which kind of makes sense. I guess he was shooting out poison the whole thing, the whole episode. Yeah. So Doku, which is his name, just means poison. So Doku takes over a hospital and starts charging everyone a ton of money for services they don't need.
So basically, a regular hospital in America.
Look, I wasn't gonna say it, but if you want to put if you want to put those parallels where they lie, I mean, hey, you could see a lot of similarities. Let's just say that. So what happens after that? Doman keeps skipping around in time and starts fighting Tatsuya while the others track down Doku and then start fighting Doku. So he starts going back to the past, and then he's back to the present, and then he goes back to when they first got to the present. Yeah. Oh, no, future, I guess, not the past.
Future's past.
Yeah. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So he keeps switching timelines, and then he goes back, and he thinks Tatsuya's the guy that, or Leela disguised as the captain when she tries to blow them all up. Yeah, when they come back to the past. Eventually, Doman and Tatsuya meet up with everyone after Doman hits Tatsuya a bunch of times, and then they take down Doku.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the end of that episode. No, it's not, because at the end you find out Doman was just homesick, not really data sickness. He was just homesick.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Home, see the fun
Yeah.
one more time. That's it.
So I will go first for this one. This one was I think out of all of the Rangers, Doman is probably the one I don't like the most. I don't know.
I could do that.
Yeah, he's just kind of annoying.
Yeah. I don't want to say he's one-dimensional, but he's pretty. Nah, he's not one-dimensional. There was layers to them. I think they're uncovering the layers, but yeah, his tendencies are pretty out there. They're annoying for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shion is the alien.
Yeah, Shion. He's annoying too, but
Yeah, he's annoying, but like a kid is annoying. He's fine. And Ayase, I think Well, I guess they're all kind of annoying.
Except for the Blue Ranger. Blue Ranger's not annoying. I like him.
Well, you don't really hear from him too much. That's Ayase. It's just kind of when he's fighting with Doman, I think. That's pretty much the only time you really hear from him.
Yeah, he's like Sasuke in a way.
He's like Sasuke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sasuke is extremely annoying too. I said it.
Yeah.
I stand by it.
It's like, what do you mean by that?
Sasuke's overrated. That's what I mean by that.
I think so. having I guess it's a sidebar. Having watched Naruto now, Sasuke is definitely overrated. I was watching it I was like, bro, why are you going off the Orochimaru again? Like, this seems a bit much. I don't think you need to do all this just to get stronger. I feel like you could train with some of the, ninjas one step at a time, my guy, type of thing, But whatever.
Well, we'll have to save that for the Naruto podcast, but I can taking a step back on the Sasuke hate, like I can see kind of how the storyline goes, and you have to keep in mind they're 10 years old. So I can kind of see it going there, but
yeah.
I don't know. After a certain point, but
the Rangers are annoying, but it's endearing in a way, type of. It's
yeah,
strange.
yeah. It's just Doman's my least favorite. Let's put it in a more positive light. He's my least favorite Ranger.
Okay.
So, but I thought it was pretty funny how pretty funny and pretty sad how the doctor is just charging people this huge amount of money for services they don't need. And then she's like, hey, I don't know, let me just cut them apart. How you gonna get your money then, bro? You gonna chop them up into pieces? But I guess at that point he's just doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah. At some point there has to be some type of passion in there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I pretty much agree with what you're saying. Yeah, I would say a standout moment though is after Doman. It's Doman, right?
Yeah.
After him and I'm really bad with names, but after him and the Red Ranger come back,
Tatsuya.
Tatsuya. They're talking, and then Tatsuya comes up behind him and says something, he punches him in the face, and then they transform, and I was like, what? What in the sitcom? But it was so, I was like, alright, I like that. That was funny.
But that's a pretty good point. It's basically like a sitcom.
I liked it. It stood out. I was like, alright, yeah. I need more of that. Give me more of that.
So that's the Sentai. Classic Sentai, I guess. Classic Sentai.
Yeah, it was great.
So, well, we can go on to case file number 8. Geijutsu no ni bakuhatsu. Oh. An explosion in the arts. So I guess this one is probably more pink-centric again. But the gang is looking for a lost dog. Or I guess Yuri is looking for a lost dog, and then the gang shows up. The boys show up to help her when the Loander's family hijacker Nobokov shows up in a park to steal Kinji Toba. This guy, I guess. Some guy. The Timerangers save him and take him back to their hideout. Then they find out that he's an artist that's apparently going to become extremely famous, and in the future his art sells for a ton of money. And then we learned that Leela wants him to paint her portrait just because. She is way bougie.
Yeah.
I guess we can save that for what we think about it. Yeah. The Don, was it this episode or last episode? He just opens his chest. Yeah, and there's just coins in there. He's just you just see him sigh, and you kind of feel for him a little bit.
Because like I thought like when I did see that, I was like, yo, how many times? Like if they would have just kept the money, they probably wouldn't have to rob anybody anymore at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if they've been getting that much money from the heist they've been pulling off, but yeah.
I mean, every time we see her, she's always like with she has like 5 of the minions with her, and they're all carrying bags. So I don't know. Maybe they are.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. But anyway, instead, he said they take him back to his house, and then he says he wants to paint Yuri instead, but he gets kidnapped by Kabokov. He then ends up refusing, or they like try to entice him with all of this food. They're like, you can use whatever you want in this place. You have all of this food because we know you're hungry. But he ends up refusing to paint Leela, and they're about to kill him when the Rangers show up because the dog had his scent. So he had the lost dog in his apartment, and then they used that dog to find him in the nick of time.
Yeah.
That's how that
Makes
works.
sense when you don't think about it.
Yeah, it's definitely like, well, it's like somebody walked in at the last scene and is like, well, we need them to come and save him at the last minute. Let's make sure we add this one dog in beforehand, and in order for that dog to be there, they need to be searching for it at the beginning so that when they find it in the apartment, it makes sense, and then they have a way to find him in the end. So, I mean, a thought was made. I mean, an attempt was made. It's not the worst thing, I guess. But
I've seen worse.
yeah.
I've seen worse.
So anyway, they bust in, they transform and fight. Standouts in this fight are Leela and Yuri have a little duel, and Yuri like wins, but then Nabokov buys Leela time to escape. And then the Rangers end up defeating him.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yep. Artist ends up giving them a painting and then leaving, and then that's the end.
Yeah. I would say also maybe Yuri had some character development as far as being more empathetic or compassionate, to other people.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of her little character arc. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's becoming less of a lone wolf and trying to empathize with people a little bit more. So, all in all, not that. At least I'll go first this time. Not that bad of an episode. It was pretty fun, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing really stood out too much, but except Leela being bougie AF. And then getting owned by Yuri. Usually that's like, you would expect that to be close to the end, but I think the Rangers have been fighting pretty well so far.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen to give them a little bit of a threat.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think. Excuse me. I feel like normally all I can go off of is like my extensive history of American Power Rangers, but it's not that bad. It's not that extensive. Normally like the shakeup is like a counter ranger, like an evil ranger. So I'm expecting an evil ranger to show up pretty soon. I don't know. I don't know how soon, but like some type of quest.
I don't know if that's quite a thing. We'll see what happens. I won't say there's a 0 chance, but I mean, I haven't seen the rest of this season yet. It may have happened in some other ones I've seen. There's probably a non-0 chance of it happening. Doubtful though. I don't know. That'd be kind of, I guess, maybe. Probably not though. I don't know. I don't see that one coming. But hey, you wanna make that call? You can make that call.
I shall make that call. That is my prediction. I predict.
All right. Any more thoughts on the end of Sentai for this week?
Not really. I feel like it's a slow burn. I think the more we get into it, the more the story might start to ramp up. At least, like, I can only expect but so much because it's a kid show, and everything. Like, well, I can't say that because it's pretty dark. But I can only expect but so much in the beginning. I feel like it's a slow burn. Like, it kind of like snowballs, and then it gets to the end, and it's like, oh, like it makes sense or it connects, and I want to see more or continue on to the next one. But I also don't know the difference between the American and Japanese version, so I could be thinking about it completely wrong.
Yeah, I guess for me, it feels like Sentai is more kind of, here's your monster of the week. In the end, the heroes are going to fight them and capture them. And then the next week, we're going to get a new monster.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't even know if they really are following like a plot in the background either. It's just new monster.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to beat it.
It's back to the breed.
Yeah. So I think for this week at least, it was just, well, I guess they're mostly introducing the characters.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's kind of the focus of the first couple of episodes. And then maybe, hopefully they'll get a little bit deeper into the plot. But so far it's not that bad. It's basically like a sitcom, like you said. It's your weekly little show that you're watching.
Yeah.
That's
why I was saying that it's like a slow burn. It's kind of like slowly snowballing. So like right now it's like a small snowball. It's probably gonna ramp up later, like with connections and like an actual plot line.
Yeah. And we got a new robo formation. I think that's pretty much the newest thing for this set of episodes this week.
Yeah, maybe that's the plot.
The new robo combination. Yeah. We'll see.
Heck yeah. Well,
right.
That brings us into Kamen Rider, right?
Yep. So let's go ahead with Kamen Rider. So
this one is definitely going to be better.
Kamen Rider Kuuga. So after last week's episode with Sentai, I also re-listened to the Kamen Rider intro, and that's decent too. I like them both. Mm-hmm. So Kamen Rider Kuuga keeps hitting. It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, I definitely like that one.
Yeah,
I've been listening to it. I try not to listen to them if I don't have time, but if I have time, I listen to them.
Yeah, I usually just keep it playing. I don't skip them, and it's decent. The ending, though, the ending is just like whatever.
Yeah, the ending's skippable.
Yeah. So episode 5 is Kyori, or Distance. So we have Sakurako wakes up in the university archaeology lab. So I thought that was her office, but I guess she's working at a university, which kind of makes sense. I think a lot of like graduate students kind of do stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The police have announced that the unidentified life forms exist. Ichijo is waiting in a cafe for Yusuke and having an extremely painful conversation with the owner. I thought that was pretty funny. We get introduced to the owner of, what is it, Polo Polo? What's the name of that restaurant? I forgot to write it.
I didn't even know they said the
name. Pole Pole or Pole Pole. Yeah, they say it.
Okay, I missed it.
I've got to re-listen to it. But yeah, that owner is definitely interesting. And you can tell Ichijo is having a hard time.
Yeah. He's struggling.
Yeah.
He's struggling for sure.
So he's waiting for Yusuke to come because Yusuke is a part-timer there. And then when Yusuke does show up, he takes him to get examined by his friend, who's kind of a doctor. And then they find out that Yusuke's body is changing to be more like the unidentified life forms. Mm-hmm. And then the doctor kind of says he doesn't know what's going to happen if the change gets all the way to his brain.
Yeah.
And then we get introduced, or not really introduced him. Badzu is up first for the group. So the name of the first, or the, I don't know if we got the other unidentified life forms names, but Badzu, I think they call out by his name. And then they start a game, or they say that he has 81. They just say the number 81, I think. And it's like in 2 days. They kind of keep it a little coy. But this is the start of their game. And he basically has 2 days to kill 81 people. Then we cut back to Ichijo having to answer to his higher-ups for giving Yusuke or Kuuga the bike. And then as he's leaving that meeting, they get notifications that there have been no sightings of the unidentified life forms, but people have been mysteriously falling off of tall buildings. A cop happens to catch Badzu while he's kind of killing someone. So basically he's grabbing people, jumping up really high, and then dropping them or pushing them off. So the cop sees him, and then I guess while he's trying to take care of the cop, someone else sees him transform. So now they know that they can transform between their human disguises and their monster forms. So Yusuke goes after him and transforms, and then after he transforms, he also transforms the bike, which was kind of a weird new thing. All of a sudden he can transform the bike too. He kind of just flips some dials and then the bike actually transforms too. But anyway, he ends up catching one of the officers that Badzu drops. Then he fights, but Kuuga can't keep up with all of the jumping. Mid-fight, Kuuga switches to Blue Kuuga so he can jump, but then he finds out he's weaker, and then Badzu kind of just wipes the floor with him and throws him off of a building. And then we end the episode with him hitting the ground and getting hurt.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
I feel like these episodes are way more dense than Sentai.
yeah, and I feel like the plot is like Sentai is just basically a weekly episode of a show. There's really no plot moving along, whereas Kamen Rider is like, okay, we're going through the plot every week.
Yeah. Like I'm in Kamen Rider. Like I think I watched that first this time around. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did the opposite. I may have watched the Sentai first and then Kamen Rider. Or no, I watched the episode 5 and then I went through Sentai and then I came back and watched 7 through 5 and then I watched 6 through 8 for Kamen Rider. But
Yeah.
it definitely helps taking them in a huge chunk because you just go from one to one to one. And I think Kamen Rider is good with, all right, not necessarily a cliffhanger, but the beginning of the next episode is right where the last episode left off, and they're just continuing on. It's like they're telling a story. It's just a really long movie, kind of.
Yeah, I like that. I like that about it. And like you said, it's like an A-B type of thing. It's like every 2 episodes is like a contained type of thing, but it's also connected.
Yeah, like they also do the kind of monster of the week, but it's like the monster of every 2 weeks.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sign me up for it. I need more.
So we're getting a lot of the drama. We're getting a lot of the stuff. We get introduced to the blue form.
Yeah.
I guess we can go on to the next one. Or do you want to keep going for 5?
I mean, I think it was pretty interesting seeing him switch forms. I don't think he knows exactly why he's switching forms. And, like, I think you can see him being kind of confused a little bit. Also, when he did switch to blue, he's like, I'm blue now. Like, he was moving faster and whatnot. Yeah, we can go to the next one.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is kind of an A-B. Maybe we should just do both of those. So 6 is Seiryu, which is Azure Dragon or Blue Dragon, for those that don't know their color wheel. So this one picks up right as the other one ended. So Badzu is about to finish Kuuga after throwing him off the building. He's like about to come down with a foot, right? He looks like he's going to do this powerful kick. But smoke comes out of this huge tower, and then he kind of sees the smoke and then kind of flies off. He's like, "You're lucky. You should be thankful that you're so lucky." And then he just kind of bounces.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it does.
So Yusuke gets taken to a hospital, and then Sakurako comes to visit him after getting a call from Ichijo. But as soon as she gets there, Yusuke is leaving, acting like everything is fine. But he's obviously in a lot of pain because you cut to him outside and he's kind of like keeled over the bike. So Sakurako goes to see his sister, Minori, and then she kind of decides that she should be helping Yusuke, not really telling him to stop. Ichijo figures out that the killings only happen in certain areas with the smoke. So the smoke is actually, I couldn't tell if it's, he only kills in the smoke, so when it shifts, he can't kill in that zone anymore. So it's kind of like the rule to his game, I guess.
No, it's when the smoke is blowing towards him, he leaves. 'Cause I think he's like a what? He's like a mantis or like some type of bug. So like,
oh yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense. So he figures that out, and then he can calculate where the attack will happen again. While he's doing that, Sakurako figures out a translation and rushes to find Yusuke because she's calling, but nothing can go through. Yusuke finds Badzu and then transforms back into his blue form. And then Sakurako yells to Yusuke the translation, and then he breaks this pole off of a railing, and then transforms it into this pole arm or lance, and then he starts using it to fight Badzu. And then after he gets a good strike in, Badzu explodes, and everybody's like, "Yay, blue form." The end.
I will say with the final strike, it's had the same little symbol and aura like when he did his kick. So I'm not sure. I think it's just a final hit type of thing.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like a power hit, but it has the little Kuuga mark. Like if you look at the title, there's a Kuuga little symbol. I think even in some of the runes that Sakurako is translating, you'll see it sometimes. But that's meant to be Kuuga, I guess. Everybody's saying that it's Kuuga. But yeah, that mark shows up right where he hits him, and then he kind of explodes. And that's kind of the same mark that showed up whenever he did that really powerful kick that they wanted to highlight.
Yeah. Okay.
So, a lot of drama going on. Pretty good A and B story. We see the blue form for the first time, which is the dragon form, I believe. I don't.
Dragon? Yeah.
Well, they don't. I don't. Yeah, it's just the dragon form. I think. I don't know if it's. Well, blue dragon.
Called as blue dragon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they just call it the blue form. So, I don't think they have an actual name for it yet.
Okay.
But
yeah.
I think we start to see a lot of Yusuke transforming other objects with his power. So like the bike, while he's riding the bike, he can transform the bike into the Kuuga form. And then the pole, he can just take the pole and then transform that into a weapon, which kind of makes up for his lack in power in the blue form. So pretty cool.
I wonder if he has to like grab a pole every time, or if like because he transformed the pole once, now he can just kind of grab that weapon. I wonder like how that's gonna work.
I definitely have not seen the rest of this season, but I would assume that any pole he grabs, he can transform.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like he has some sort of pocket dimension, so it's probably like he's got to transform with the materials that he's given.
Yeah. Pocket dimension would be crazy though.
Which, I guess, if you're in the middle of a desert and there's no pole around for you to grab, then you're kind of screwed. But
yeah. Yikes.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he'll find like a pouch that holds all his like a Mary Poppins pouch.
Yeah.
I would say for these 2 episodes though. What's her hold on. Sawatari?
Okay, that's her family name, Sakurako. Yeah.
Sakurako.
But Sawatori-san. Yeah.
It seemed like she has a thing for our boy Kyoudai or Yusuke.
Yeah. I kind of see what you're saying. I kind of get that feeling too. But I mean, yeah.
She was pretty upset with him earlier, or at least made it seem like it was like she was upset with him, because she definitely made it seem like she didn't want him to do the vigilante thing and transform and fight the monsters, and she was like really upset with it. And that was like at the end of episode 5, which is why in episode 6, when she shows up at the hospital all worried, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? Is everything cool?" I was like, "Girl, you were just mad at him in the last episode. Stop playing." But then I was like, "Ooh, she got a thing for him." And then when she was talking to her sister, she's like, "I don't actually want him to stop fighting. I just want him to be safe," type of thing. I was like, "Just say that. Just say that then."
His sister was actually like I wasn't sure if he had told his sister, but obviously being Yusuke, I think a couple times in here they're just like such as, or yeah, when he's at the doctor, he's like, "Yeah, you could be like, you're just a human weapon at a certain point. You could disappear." And Yusuke's just like, "Okay, cool." And they're like, "You're not that, you're just like fine with that?" He's like, "Yeah, that's okay. Whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen."
He's very laissez-faire.
Yeah. But his sister is kind of the same way. I don't know if they were rubbing off on each other or whatever, but she's just like, "Yeah, he fights."
It's a family trait.
Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I noticed that part.
That part.
And I would say I want to know more about the transformations, like why, like what's the catalyst for these transformations? Is it just situational, or like what's going on? I'm not sure if they're gonna get into that, but they're slowly starting to translate the kanji, or I don't know if it's a tablet or whatever, but the artifact that they have. So maybe we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, I think they're being pretty good about like revealing certain things. So hopefully that's one of the ones they kind of tell you a little bit about.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Do you have any thoughts on it?
I think it's pretty good. Typical Kamen Rider. It's kind of a little bit dramatic. The owner is pretty much the only little bit of levity we get. He's really, really goofy, but yeah, I can't complain with anybody else. I think it's pretty good. I don't think they're overdoing anything. I mean, it can be a little bit too dramatic, but I think they're doing a good balance of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dramatic is definitely the right word to use. But
yeah,
it's not as dramatic as Super Sentai.
Like it's, I feel like Kamen Rider is like drama, and Super Sentai is like a middle school play drama. Oh no, Super Sentai gets there sometimes too. Like they go some dark places So yeah, they get there.
Yeah. Sitcom versus drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty much the major points for 5 and 6, though. I mean, I think the big ones are him transforming into blue form, and then this budding romance between Yusuke and Shikaraka. Sakurako.
Sakurako.
Sakurako. Wait, what? Sakurako, yeah.
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 So episode 7 is Shoshin, or grief. So Yusuke makes a vest. I think it was a vest, and he's sewing the character from Kuuga on the back of it. Mm-hmm. And he is extremely excited about it. And then the owner is definitely not excited about it. That's another thing that happens last episode. He's like, why am I, like, Yusuke's the worst employee ever. And you kind of feel for the man, but he's right.
Never there to help.
Yeah. So he's kind of sewing that character that he saw after doing the Kuuga moves. So we definitely know that that character showed, like, they see the character whenever he's doing those attacks. So he sews that into the back of the neck of his vest, and that then you kind of see that he's wearing that for the rest of the episode. Then we cut to the police, and they end up getting magnums, and they're testing them out at a firing range. And then the family from the professor that was killed, question mark, at the ruins, comes to visit the police, and they have an artifact that they found in one of his drawers. They try to give it to Ichijo, but he's like, yeah, this isn't really the place. I think he's trying to be sincere, but I guess they kind of take it as he's just brushing him off and they're not serious about it. But he's like, yeah, the best way to get any information is to take it to the university. And then he gives them the university's information and asks them to drop it off there. From there, I think they're translating some of the text, and then they find out that the Grongi are the name of these beings that are attacking everyone, and they were fighting the Lento. And then we find out that there are attacks from a new unidentified life form around Tokyo, and that they look like a huge wasp has stung the people, and then they've died. The body count on these episodes is pretty big. Like, people will just be dying everywhere.
Yeah, dropping like flies, if you will.
Yeah. So after one of the attacks, they find like a pierced. There's a small hole in the asphalt, and then when they pull it out, they find a little a sticker? Yeah, big metal sticker.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, it's a stinger, which makes it look like a wasp attack. Yusuke and Ichijo end up tracking down the new Grongi, or unidentified life form number 14. Yusuke fights him and suddenly gets knocked off of a building, and then he suddenly turns green. He's like, whoa, I'm green, and then he gets a sensory overload, and it ends up falling off of the building. And that's kind of where we cut from the episode. He falls off of a lot of buildings.
Yeah.
But first, I was wondering if it was just a play with the like something was wrong with the camera, because like the hue was kind of different. But it was like, yeah, he's green, and he's like, oh, I'm green now. And then he kind of he hears way too much, he sees way too much, and then I guess he gets dizzy, and then he just falls.
Yeah. And I think the wasp guy just leaves him alone. I can't remember what he does at the end of that one.
Well, that's where we kind of cut off the end of the episode. So I guess we can go ahead with episode 8. So episode 8 is the next one, which is Shashu, or Archer. So episode 8 picks up right where episode 7 ended, which was with Yusuke falling down after being overloaded, and on the ground he's still getting a lot of information from his senses, and he's disoriented, but he kind of sees the Grongi come at him and dodges at the last second. And then he collapses in his white form, but the Grongi flies off. I can't remember why he leaves, though.
Did the detective show up and then shoot at him?
Oh, yeah.
Him, and then the bat guy kind of came out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, the bat guy shows up and then starts talking to him, and then the Ichijo shows up, and then he starts shooting at him. I think that was earlier, though, because Ichijo starts chasing after the bat guy, and then that's when was that earlier? 'Cause I think that's
this episode, because he goes back to the headquarters and she's like, well, you gotta do it again. She's like, where's your bracelet? You
yeah.
gotta start over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we do find that out next. He goes back, and then something's up with the bracelets. They don't really explain it too well, but every time they have a kill, they flick it over almost like it's abacus. But they count their kills, and then I guess to win the game, they have to get that certain amount of kills in that certain time frame. But since he lost his, he has to start over from 0. And then he's like, okay, well, if I kill Kuuga, does that count like at a higher count than a normal person? And she's like, okay. I think he also refers to the humans as lento. So it's like the humans. The Grongi have been attacking humans for whatever, and then something happened to kind of kill them all. But anyway, after he passes out, he gets taken back to the doctor, and then they are very cozy, like very close. Yeah. The doctor and Yusuke, extremely close.
Yeah.
But eventually he gets released. Yeah, I think he ends up saying that, yeah, the stone inside you kind of got drained. And then they kind of figure out that form takes a lot of energy out of Yusuke. That it will take him about 2 hours before he can transform again. And then the daughter comes over to the lab, the university lab, with her mother to drop off or no, they did that at the end of last episode. And then is it Jean? The foreigner gets really excited, and then she ends up not wanting to give him the artifact, and then kind of runs off.
Yeah. She says like they're not taking it serious, or they don't want to figure out what happened to her deceased ?
Yeah. 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 So it's kind of the drama's kicking in, but it's kind of like they don't feel anything because it's just one person that died. So the police don't really care, which is kind of like, I think she's reaching a little bit, because I think Ichijo was trying to be like helpful, and he was really like, hey, if you want answers, take it to this place, because they will help us find the answers. That's how we are getting answers so far.
Yeah.
And then when she gets there, the dude is just like, this is going to make me famous if I could figure out what this is.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he even apologized. He was like, maybe I was a little too excited. My bad.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think the daughter ends up calling the police, and they're like, hey, someone else is going to die if they don't find anything about Life Form Zero. Like they call it Life Form Zero, the guy that kind of destroyed the whole lab. Or not the lab, the people at the ruins, the archaeologists at the ruins. She says someone else is going to die, which sounds very kind of ominous. But
No, she said she's gonna die.
does she specifically say she's gonna? Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
So that
she's gonna die.
yeah, so that freaks everybody out, and they're all looking for her. And then Yusuke's like, "Look, just translate anything that you can find out about the green form. While you're doing that, I will find her."
Yeah. Promise.
Yeah, he promises, and then he goes off, and then Sakurako actually gets to work. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna translate it because he never breaks promises."
Like, all right.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good thing to be known for, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, oh, you promised? Ain't good enough for me.
yeah.
Any other time he says, nah, we're gonna question that. But as soon as he says, I promise, it's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, not bad. But Ichijo ends up getting a tracker they say that the bat has a signature, and they find out that number 14 also has like a signature that you can track with the tracker. So he uses that to try to track him down. While he's doing that, Yusuke finds Mika and tries to convince her to go back. But 14 is stalking Yusuke. And then Ichijo finds out because he can't get into contact with Yusuke, but is tracking 14, and then finds Yusuke. And he's like, I know what he's targeting. So he runs out and he's like, Yusuke, he's trying to get you. And then he Yusuke transforms straight into his blue form. And then Ichijo tosses him his gun. And then when Yusuke gets it, he transforms it into a bow, some sort of projectile weapon. Number 14 has been waiting for his little stinger to recharge. When it does, he shoots at Yusuke, but Yusuke dodges it because he can see it. And then he just shoots him and then completely like one-shots him. And I think that's the end of the episode. Mika cries because she's sorry for what she did to everybody, or made everybody think she was going to do, or how she was acting, I guess. And then that's the end.
Yeah. I would say before Ichijo got to the before he got to them, I think Sakurako called them with a new translation that let him know that he had to toss his
Yeah.
gun at him.
I don't think it was like toss his gun at him. He was just like, yes, the green warrior attacks from a range, or it was something vague like that. Yeah.
Strikes with like the wind or something like that. It was something like that.
Yeah, like the wind warrior strikes from a far away space or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, far away space? It sounds like he's going to shoot him. Okay. Gone.
Yeah. But hey, it worked.
I mean,
it works.
He already gave him a bike. Why not give him a gun?
That's why I said, like, is he gonna like be able to just pull out the weapon now since he transformed something? Because there ain't no way they're gonna throw him a gun every time.
There's no way. There's not a lot more explaining to do if Ichijo comes back and he's like, I don't know. I gave him my gun and he transformed it into a bow. Can I get a new gun?
Right. You can't explain that every time.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. So,
I don't know. I think there's a pocket dimension. I think he still has his weapons.
We'll see. This episode, they also did pull out the high-powered rifles, and Ichijo like got a couple shots off really quick with that. So he's a pretty good shot. Even at the target practice, he was pretty good with that Magnum.
He's not dead weight after all, you know?
Yeah. And he's figuring out a lot of those. I think both of them actually helped figure out, like, the monster was going in a spiral motion. So they kind of figured out the first time where the next attack was going to happen, and then Ichijo ends up saving like a little girl and her mother because he figured out where it was going to be. So yeah, I think they do it. So my thoughts for 7 and 8 are kind of like they give all of the other characters kind of something to do. So Ichijo doesn't seem like dead weight. Sakurako doesn't seem like dead weight. Is it Jean? Kind of seems like dead weight, but he's not part of the crew. We're not counting Jean. That was like a weird, that was a weird shift. It was like, hey, there's this character Jean, and then he comes in and he's like, I'm gonna get famous. What? It's like, that wasn't the play, bro. Yeah.
Man, it's like you just got here, man. Send it out.
So that was a little bit odd, but other than that, I think everybody's kind of got something going. I don't know. For me, like, and I had no future spoilers because I don't know much about Kuuga. I haven't seen this season, but the police chief, kind of seems fishy to me. I don't know.
Okay. I can see that. You're talking about the guy he was shooting with in the range, right?
No, I think the guy he was shooting at the range was like another detective. I'm talking about the chief, where he had to explain why he gave him the bike.
Okay. I see.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay some more attention to the chief then. See if we can use our detective work to figure some stuff out.
Yeah, so I don't know. He seems kind of shady to me, but I don't know. So far, everybody's been kind of on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Fine. Yeah, I mean, I agree. We're just gonna call him John. John is pretty much non-relevant at this point. He's literally just there for giggles. I want to know what the artifact is, because I'm assuming now that they saved the girls, they're going to get the artifact now. So I'm wondering if that's going to be like a power-up or some type of, like it's going to transform into anything. So I am eager to see what happens with that. And I wonder if they're going to, well, I guess we're going to obviously get some more translation, but yeah. I want to know if the pocket dimension is real. Yeah. I'm placing my money on it.
I mean, so far there hasn't been a pocket dimension, so I don't know if I don't know if that one's in the cards yet. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, until we watch, episode 5 through 8, there hasn't been a blue and green form too. So I don't know.
I mean, true. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Hey man, stranger things have happened.
So that's the end of Kamen Rider for this week. Any more thoughts?
I will say, I sent you a clip.
Oh.
Earlier, like a little,
Yeah.
I guess, Instagram clip, and it was like, I guess, Kamen Rider, like more recent. It looked so much better as far as production wise, and I was like, ooh, can't wait to get to here. It looked great. My man.
So at the pace we're going, we should be getting there in a couple years. But like, at the pace we're going, we'll be eating through like a couple of them. We'll get to some really good ones. But that guy is like from the year before. It's Geats, and that's a pretty good season. I finished that season. Like,
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I finished that season. Geats is pretty good. No future spoilers, but that was a pretty good season. Yeah.
I'm excited to get there.
Yeah. But other than that, I think that's it for us for this week. Next week will be episodes 9 through 12 for both Timeranger and Kuuga. Mm-hmm. So I hope you're following along with us. Remember, make sure you pause it wherever you need to, come back after you're done, have a conversation, and catch us next episode. Kyoudai podcast. We may not have a ton of money or time, but one thing we do have is existential dread. See you next episode.